What's up guys, Lifting here. In this video I'm going to show you 3 tools that I use when I play Path of Exile. They greatly help me with being efficient with my time, managing trades, and in general just interacting and making it a little easier for me when doing various things in Path of Exile. The first tool on the list is the Path of Exile trade macro. And what this does is that it helps you price check items, saving you precious time. An example of this is if we take the gold rim here and press Ctrl D, it will then request information from POE-Trade and show the information down by this, or in this little box here. And you can make it so that it shows for the specific league that you're playing in, because obviously prices are different from the leagues. It also works on things such as the sacrifices and the offerings. And what I find particularly useful is if you have a gem you want to price, especially if you're doing overlapping and you're getting a lot of different quality gems to drop, then this can help you speed up the process a lot instead of having to constantly go over and check and look up each individual gem. So it's very useful in that regard. You can also press Ctrl I, and then you could, for instance, type tabula rasa and search, and it will then show that specific item. So it makes it a little more streamlined, and that's of course very helpful. You can also, if you press Ctrl W, it will look up the item on the POE wiki for you. Also very useful. And you can do that even if people link stuff in the chat. So for instance, Monkastain linked this. So if I press Ctrl W here, it will open that up, and it also, again, I can do the price checking thing in so far. I also really like the advanced search function that you have. So for instance, if we take Devotos here, and again from an Uberlab farming perspective, then I would potentially be interested in seeing if there are other Devotos out there that has this particular helmet enchant. And then you can search for that, and if there is anything with that, it will show you what that price is. So it makes it much easier if you want to price your enchants in the lab. Now, I would recommend you only use this to price unique items and in general items that has a set name, or where it is a specific thing you search for, where the variables are easy to isolate, because otherwise it gets a little messy. When you install it, it will be running down here, Path of Exile trade macro, and it looks something like this on screen. And this is the UI you have to work with. You can choose how many items you want to have shown. You can assign hotkeys to whatever function there is, and of course add your own information here if you wanted to track that. So the next item on the list is Lootbot. And basically what Lootbot is this here. It can help you track your position on the ladder. You guys may have noticed that. This is the ladder overlay. You don't have to have that on if you don't like that, but it gives you that overlay and helps you track your position on the ladder. It can also run the who is command for you, or the travel to hideout macro. So if you click F5, it will travel to your hideout, and the who is, if you press F2, because that's my hotkey, it will show lifting underscore level 48 champion. And that's because I think I whispered myself last and had a conversation for that. So it shows you who is for the last person you've been interacting with, and that can make it a little easier. Also, you can see if somebody wants to trade you, or you want to trade him and he says 1 moment, then you can press who is, and you can see, is he running around inside a map? Is he in the labyrinth, or so forth? It's very useful for that. You can set it to invite players. So in this case, I'm not going to press that because I think I'll just invite myself. But if not, I may be inviting Monkastain, and I don't want to waste his time. But it'll, again, invite the player that you talked to last. And then over here, there's a very, very useful section that I use constantly, especially when overlapping. Basically, this gives you some replies that you can send back to the person who just whispered you. So if Monkestain had just whispered me, again, we're not going to interrupt him or disturb him, but I could press Control-1 and it will instantly send this message back, or Control-2 for this message, or Control-3 for this message, and so forth. You kind of get it, right? And you can set down here under General Hotkeys, you can just, well, add whatever you like. It's very useful and it saves a ton of time if you're in the Uber lab and somebody whispers you, hey, I would like to buy this. Then I have this running, for instance, Control-3, and it'll say currently in lab. Let me know if you can wait. If so, I will invite you when I'm done. And then they sometimes say, yeah, that's cool. And then I'll press Control-4 and then it'll say, awesome, I'll hit you up in a bit. Or if it's been sold, you can say sold, sorry. So it's very useful and saves me a lot of time, and it makes you safer too, because you don't have to stand up and type stuff and, well, risk your character's life. Now, the final thing I want to show you guys is Mercury Trade. And some of you guys may have noticed the overlay that was up here. Basically, Mercury Trade is kind of like a trade secretary. It keeps track on the items that people are interested in buying from you. So in this case, I took an item I had by myself and whispered myself. And you can see here, I would like to buy your Havoc Gutter Tiger Sword listed for 1 chaos, blah, blah, blah. When you get a whisper such as this, it will save that whisper up here and that particular trade. So if I had gotten 4 different whispers, there would be 4 different trades available here. And it basically makes it so that you remember it instead of it getting lost in your chat. And also at the same time, it allows you to just press these buttons if you want to reply with a simple no thanks or sold or 1 minute and so forth. And those replies you can also set in here. So I've just made it like this. And that's how I will be replying if I use this, or I will be using the LootBot reply system. I kind of like having it on hotkeys. LootBot does that really well, but also this is very useful if you just want to click. So if you're doing a lot of farming, running around, and you just don't want to be bothered and you want to be efficient with your time, maybe consider getting a price checking macro, the LootBot I showed you, and the Mercury Trade, so you can remember those trades that people are interested in contacting you about. I'll leave a link to each program down below in the description of the video. I hope you guys will find it useful too. If you have any like technical issues and things like that, I can't help you with that. It's probably, you will have to contact the developer about that. But if you have any other questions, feel free to ask them below. Also, if you are interested in more Path of Exile content, remember to subscribe. But most importantly, consider visiting me on Twitch. I stream almost every day. Thank you for watching, and bros, do you even nerd?